Good afternoon. My name is DeRay Flowers, and today I'm going to be coming to you all doing my social policy video on public assistance programs. I think this is something that we all should know about, considering that we are all future social workers, and we're definitely going to have to deal with clients um, on public assistance. So I felt like this would be something very um, interesting to talk about. So I have a few bullets that I researched, and I'm going to talk about that today. So, public assistance programs. Public assistance programs are selective programs in that benefits are based on individual needs. Need is determined by a test of income, which is called a means test. The primary public assistance program in the United States are temporary assistance to needy families, which we know as TANF, supplemental security income, which we know as SSI, and general assistance. So the first public assistance program that I am going to talk about is temporary assistance to needy families, which is known as TANF. The 1996 welfare reform enacted by the Clinton administration ended aid to families with dependent children, AFDC is the abbreviation, as an entitlement and replaced the program with a block grant called Temporary Assistance to Needy Families, which we know as TANF. To receive federal funds in the AFDC program, states had to provide matching funds. With TANF, states do not provide matching funds, but they do need to meet a maintenance of effort requirement. States must maintain spending equal to at least 75% of their fiscal year 1994 spending on AFDC and related services. TANF gives states some flexibility in administering federal funds. For example, states can transfer up to 30% of their TANF block grant funding to either their Child Care Development Block Grant or their Social Service Block Grant. The fundamental difference between the new TANF and former AFDC program is that under TANF, no individual or family is entitled to welfare. Individuals must participate in work activity within 2 years of receiving assistance, and families are limited to a total of 5 years assistance in a lifetime. So I have a question that if you all view my video, if you could leave in the comments, do you all agree with the TANF, the rules of TANF where um, you have to find work within 2 years of receiving the assistance? Um, because you know that some people abuse public assistance. So I want to know if you all agree with, the client having to work within 2 years of them receiving the assistance, and they can only be on the assistance for 5 years out of their lifetime. So if you want to drop that in the reply box and just let me know how you feel about that, then that'll be great. Okay, continuing on. If a program participant refuses work requirements, states have the option to reduce or eliminate assistance to the whole family. This could include the loss of Medicaid. The exception to this is when the participant refuses work because they cannot find or afford child care for a child under 6 years old. Unlike the former AFDC services, TANF does not guarantee that this needed child will be provided to the participant. Another rule under TANF is that minors who are parents cannot receive TANF unless they are living at home with their parents or in another adult supervised setting. These minors must attend high school or an alternative educational or training program as soon as their child is 12 weeks. And you can also let me know how you feel about that rule, about the minors having to attend high school or an alternative educational training program as soon as their child turns 12 weeks. If you can let me know how you feel about that as well. So the next public assistance program that I'm going to be talking about is the SSI, which is the Supplemental Security Income. The Supplemental Security Income was established during the Nixon administration. It was essentially a restructuring of the Social Security Act's public assistance program for blind and older Americans. The program assist poor people aged 65 or older, as well as blind people and people with disabilities. SSI recipients have grown from 4 million in 1974 to 6.5 million in 1995. A total of 27.2 million was spent on SSI benefits in 1995. Of those amount, the federal government provided 235 million of those dollars. People with disabilities are the largest group of SSI clients, representing 77% of the total recipients in 1995. Disability is defined under SSI guidelines as a physical or mental impairment that prevents substantial employment activity and has lasted or probably will last for at least a year or may result in death. Those who are mentally ill or mentally retarded constitute about 50% of working age people with disabilities. Next, I'm going to talk about just general assistance, and this could be like food stamps or something like that. So the third major public assistance program in the United States is called General Assistance. It is a program for the needy who do not qualify for previously described federal assistance. 41 states and the District of Columbia after general assistance, although in some states, only certain counties provide assistance. As its name suggests, the program provides general safety net help to the poor. Benefits include cash and or in-kind payments, similar to TANF. 21 states require employable adults to work or enter in training in order to maintain eligibility for general assistance benefits. Some states also impose time limits on all or certain categories of their general assistance caseload. Now, when it comes to general assistance, I'm going to specifically be talking on food stamps. I think that some of their rules are kind of, let's say I don't agree with some of their rules, because I know if you're in college and you try to get food stamps, as we all were in college, especially undergrad, and we tried to get food stamps, we had to work at least 20 hours a week to get food stamps. Whereas I know people who are not working or not doing anything, and they get like $800 worth of food stamps, and I kind of feel like I kind of don't agree with that, because it's like you're asking for college students to work, but then people out here who are just not even trying to work, they are the ones that can get the food stamps. So that's what I kind of don't agree with the food stamp situation. If you feel another opinion after watching the video, feel free to comment to it on as a part of your discussion post. So I'm going to talk about some current issues in public assistance. So there are many issues of concern to the social work profession regarding the temporary assistance to needy families, which we know as the TANF program. The 1996 Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act, which established TANF, contained no explicit requirement that poor families get cash assistance. That is, under this welfare reform legislation, tax states can opt to limit aid to vouchers or services. These features of the new approach to public assistance presents a threat to the social work principle of self-determination, because they provide less flexibility to caseworkers and clients in the use of welfare assistance. The provision of the law allowing states to reduce spending on welfare to 75% of fiscal year 1994 state spending, and the ability to transfer TANF funds to child care for social service block grants does give a state some flexibility. However, there are potential negative ramifications to this aspect of the law as well. TANF funds spent on their services could result in less basic subsistence support to poor families. Other issues concerning TANF involve the potential use of private organizations to deliver public assistance and the right of clients to appeal TANF decisions. Under the 1996 legislation, TANF can be administered and distributed by private, nonprofit, or for-profit entities. What are the possible outcomes if this takes place in certain states? On the positive side, competition for TANF contracts may reduce costs to the states. In addition, service delivery by less bureaucratic organizations may improve service quality. Yet, on the negative side of the debate, the introduction of the profit motive into public assistance may reduce service access and quality to high, needy, and costly clients. The former federal law regarding public assistance was very specific in guaranteeing clients the right to appeal decisions against them. The 1996 legislation, however, is more general on this issue. States must submit their own plans, which may vary considerably in the protection of clients' rights. And a final issue regarding the ability of states to deny cash assistance and Medicaid to adults who do not meet work requirements in such cases, which sectors of society are responsible for providing the safety net. And lastly, what I'm going to be discussing, I'm going to just give you some facts, and it's basically the section that I titled Did You Know? So, did you know that welfare reform got its major push from city and state governments? These levels of the public sector began experiencing severe budget crises during the 1970s and 1980s. A primary example was New York City. New York experienced a fiscal crisis in 1975. Public assistance, among other things, was blamed for the city's fiscal problems, precipitating a movement to reform city welfare. During the 1980s, other cities followed New York's example. At the same time, state governments around the country began asking for waivers of federal regulations concerning public assistance. As a result, many features of TANF, including time limits and teen parent restrictions, had already been implemented at the state level when the 1996 federal legislation was enacted. And that concludes my policy video. I hope you all learned something from it. I hope you all gained something from it. Feel free to, tell me anything that you want to tell me, whether it be something that I could have done better or what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. But thank you all for taking the time to listen to my video, and I hope you all have a great day, and I hope we all pass the class. Goodbye.